Recently, I discovered that a pack of field mice had taken up residence in my motorhome while it was in storage. So I decided to build myself a little mousetrap, and I'll demonstrate it here for you. Basically, it's a 5-gallon bucket with some water inside and some PVC piping that I've affixed, and I'll take it all apart and show you what I mean here. Before I do take all that apart, I'll show you the basic setup. Basically a 5-gallon bucket. I do have a board going across there, and ordinarily I would have another 2x4 positioned as such that the little mice can climb up the 2x4, walk over, and then drop down into the bucket. And as you can see, there's one little deceased critter right there, and there's two right there, having drowned in the 4 inches of water that are in the bottom of the bucket. So essentially, how it works, what I decided to do was to use some PVC piping, and I'll actually remove this entire contraption from the bucket so you can take a better look at it. Ordinary 1/2-inch PVC piping. Move that out of the way. Set it back here. And here is the main event. Basically, I just used, as I mentioned, 1/2-inch in diameter PVC piping throughout here on both sides. I used 6 of these little T brackets, and I created a little tower, if you will. And there's 2 cross members right here. And on the lower cross member, I just smeared some peanut butter. And on the top one, that's basically a larger tube. Basically, it's a 1/2-inch tube with a larger tube on the outside. So essentially, it looks like this, with one tube inside of the other, such that the outer tube can spin freely, and I'll show you why. When this thing is dropped down inside the water, inside the bucket, with that board being right here, the mice would basically try to jump down to this level, and as you can see, it spins freely, and that's the whole point, so that they would try to jump onto this. It's going to spin one way or the other, and they're going to drop down into the water. And I did notice that one of them did manage to gnaw away at some of the peanut butter, and he either got back out or he dropped down into the bucket afterwards. I'm not sure which, and I don't really care. I think I got him. I think he's one of the 3 inside the bucket. Like I mentioned, I used 6 of these little T members here. There's one there, and 2 on each side on the upright. 2 there and 2 there. I didn't use any glue. There were no these members do not need to be glued together, that they fit in there quite snugly. Basically, you just cut them to the desired length and drop it down inside the bucket and add water. That's basically all there is. And I did add a little couple pieces of paper here, and it might be easier to show why once this thing is inside the bucket. So I'll replace this back into the bucket and show you a little bit more about what I did. And with the trap back down inside the bucket, you can better see the purpose of the papers that I have here. I didn't want the mice to get down to the level of the peanut butter and then be able to crawl up the PVC piping and get back out of the bucket. So I just put some paper here It's really glossy and it's really slippery. And the purpose was so that if they did manage to get anywhere else, like on the lower level, or if they managed to get over here, they wouldn't have a whole lot of recourse. I mean, sure, they probably could have gotten over, but I think they were more interested in getting down to the peanut butter. If you decide to build something like this, well, it took me about an hour. Very little time involved in this. I designed it such that this spinning tube rests below the top rim of the bucket, because I knew I wanted to put a board across, and I knew that this thing also wouldn't spin if it were any higher. So you want this to spin freely, so that when a little mousey hops down here, he's going to lose his balance and drop right down into the water. And also, before I put this larger diameter piping on the 1/2 inch piping, I just used some ordinary motor oil so that this thing would spin even more freely than it would have otherwise. So after about a couple nights, I think a total of 3 nights netted me a total of 3, well, not 3 blind mice, but 3 dead mice. 1, 2, 3. So I will actually flush these little critters down the commode, put some new water in there, and give it another whirl and see if I can catch any more. Obviously, I don't know how many mice I had in my motorhome. I got 3 of them. There may be more. I'll just reset the trap with fresh water. Might even put some fresh peanut butter on there, and see if I can catch any more critters inside the motorhome. And I'll also be making these things and putting them on eBay, and I'll put the eBay number in the video, so you can easily look it up if you want to buy one of your own. Alright, that's all there is to it.